Yes, hello. I'm Greg Smith, Director and COO of Alerio Gold Corp. Very pleased to be able to provide this update on Alerio and our exciting Tassawinni Gold Project located in Guyana, South America. We are an exploration and development story, so I will be making forward-looking statements. I invite you to look at the disclaimers here, as well visit the website to see the cautionary NI 43-101 language, in particular associated with our historical gold resource, as well the technical reports and other information that are available on our website. So this first slide details the investment highlights. Alerio Gold Corp is underpinned by the Tassawinni Gold Project. It's our flagship. It has a 500,000 ounce historical gold resource estimated by SRK back in 2010. The project has seen significant exploration and as well infrastructure expenditure over the years. We really like Guyana as a jurisdiction. It's obviously got great geological potential, and we believe as well a good sort of legal framework, as well good mining law. We've got licensed mining mineral titles, only an EIS required to advance that into production, and a real strong management team with decades of experience both in the capital markets and on the technical side, and in particular in the country of Guyana. So Guyana is located in northernmost South America. It's English-speaking British law, real stable democratic government, member of the Commonwealth, a long history of gold production, gold exploration, established mining act, and underlain by some of the most prospective geology for gold deposits in the world. Historically, gold production has been significant, peaking in 2016 at over 700,000 ounces, as represented as much as 35% of the exports for Guyana, and really that's reflective of the great jurisdiction that it is. That's brought in some investments, in particular over the last couple of years. We've seen significant monies raised for greenfields exploration, new companies coming into the country, but as well a revitalization of some of the old projects, in particular the Omai mine, which was the largest historic past producer. They're back exploring and expanding there. And at Alerio, we believe with a market cap of $17.5 million, we've got some really great upside, and that provides some incentive for ourselves to get back in there for what will be the first time in a decade and start exploration and expanding and discovering at the Tassawinni Gold Project. So this is the directors and the management team. We're led by Jonathan Chalice. He's a mining engineer with over 30 years of experience in operation and management and financing. Worked for some of the largest gold companies in the world, and again, he's very excited about the potential of the Tassawinni project. Al Fabro, Lee Grabber, again, lots of experience both on the technical side and the capital market side. Jeff Balderson, I worked with him for a number of years now, and myself, Greg Smith, Director and COO. I'm an exploration geologist, worked for over 30 years. The majority of that has been in this sort of geology that underlays our assets in Guyana. A large part of that in neighboring Venezuela, where discovered a number of multi-million ounce deposits, some of those right from discovery put into production, and as well worked in West Africa that, as we'll see, has equivalent geology to what we're looking at here. You combine the Guyana Shield in northern South America with West Africa, and it's one of the best gold endowments on the planet. So these areas have been mined for hundreds, or in some cases thousands of years. You've got all of the top tier gold producers exploring within this sort of geology, but you combine that with the fact that as well there's been some really exciting new discoveries. There's been new mines put into production, and again, we think that combination of a great jurisdiction in Guyana with this sort of underlying value that this geology brings in is a real exciting combination. I mentioned that there's been money invested not only on the exploration side, but probably one of the challenges in Guyana is the infrastructure, and we certainly benefit from the fact that previously there's been significant monies at Tassawinni invested in the infrastructure. There's an airstrip there, a camp, there's barge landing, and that's the principal access is all year-round barge access up the river. And again, that's very important to ensure that the monies are going directly into the ground to expand on the existing resource and to make new discoveries at Tassawinni. This is the project here. So a number of highlights here. The image on the top is the claim boundary for the project. You can just sort of see the river access on the lower right-hand side of that. You can see the airstrip in the central part of the property. So again, in an area of challenging infrastructure, we're certainly better off than most. In terms of the geology, the lower gray image, this is a regional image of the magnetic signatures. This is showing the complex folding and faulting, and this is something that's really important for the formation of these gold deposits. So that significantly, you look at the image. So the image is an outcrop size. This is within the area of the historical resource, and you see very similar folding and faulting, and this is what's controlling the distribution of the mineralization. So it's very important that this previous work has been completed. We've got a great understanding of what the controls are to the gold mineralization. You see since 2004, almost 50,000 meters, 1,300 holes, some additional metallurgical testing as well. And this is what allowed for the estimation of the historical resource and what puts us in a great position to get back in there for the first time in a decade and expand on that and make some new discoveries. So this was the resource that was estimated in 2010 by the consulting firm SRK, again, based on all of that detailed drilling. You see almost 12 million tons. The bulk of that in the more elevated indicated category, so 11 million tons, 1.3 for 437,000 ounces of the almost 500,000. Important to note that these are really near surface resources, so these are pit constrained, largely oxidized resources, and at those sort of grades, 1.3, 1.5 grams per ton, very healthy grades for near surface, open pittable, largely oxide material. So the focus for back in 2010 was certainly they were looking at putting this into production. They left a lot of low-hanging fruit, and we'll look at that in some of the images that are coming up as to where we definitely see the ability to expand on what we think is a real good base in terms of what the valuation provides at with 500,000 ounces. So the next set of images here, we've got some plan maps on the right, some cross sections in the center. You can see the same sort of folded and faulted nature that we saw both on the regional scale and on the outcrop scale. We now see it here on the deposit scale. The yellow zones are the gold mineralization. The pink areas are some related intrusive bodies. And again, the plan maps on the right show the folded and faulted nature. The upper one has the drill hole distribution as well. You can see the really dense drilling that has allowed for a real accurate and precise interpretation of the zones. The central images are cross sections. They highlight where the zone gets thicker when you've got these fold hinges. That's one of the really important target areas for future work. And as well, it shows in a number of instances where the gold mineralization is open to depth. We talked about the structure. That's certainly the primary control, but as well, we've got a very important secondary control, which is some preferentially mineralized lithology. So where the structures cross these lithologies, we get wider and higher grade zones. And again, we've got some really detailed work that's been completed on this dense drilling, and that will certainly give us a leg forward as we get back in and look to expand on the resource. So this is a plan map. It shows the various blocks that make up the historical resource on the right-hand side, and as well one of the primary exploration targets, which is the Sown zone, and we'll look at that in a little bit more detail later on. So a number of blocks that make up the deposit, the historic deposit, and we've got a long section that's noted there now, and that's what we'll look at in the next slide here, which is essentially a slice right through the center part of the deposit. So a number of takeaways here. So again, this is a vertical slice through the deposit. The surface is on the top of the image. We're looking to depth at the bottom. You can see the dense drilling. So the drill hole traces are all of those lines. The colors there represent in red areas greater than 0.2, so essentially all of the gold mineralized zones. And then the yellow actually is greater than 2.5 grams per ton. So within the central portion of this deposit, there's a really nice high-grade core, and obviously that's very significant for mining that earlier on in the sequence, and as well as we continue to test this zone to depth. And again, in this section, you can see that the zones are open to depth, just limited by the fact that there hasn't been any deep drilling done on this deposit. That's one of our primary targets, is in particular where we have the higher grade results, to continue following this to depth. And if you look at some of the values in the table that's on the left-hand side, anywhere from 15 all the way up to 85 meters at anywhere from 1.8 up to 14 grams per ton. A couple of real highlights at 54 meters at 5.4, 85 at 5.8. These are the sort of grades that you need when you're targeting some deeper mineralization into the sulfides below the existing historic resource. I've mentioned the blocks that make it up, the historic resource. This is back to a plan image here. So these are the solids that define the area where the resource exists. And the takeaway here is that basically these solids are limited only by the extent of the drilling. So in almost all cases, they are open-ended. We have, much like we have immediate targets expanding things to depth that we noted on the last slide, here we've got immediate targets just stepping out along strike, and we believe those have a great chance for success to expand the historic resource area. Stepping back a little bit, one of the main tools that was used to define these areas and that we'll use to look at some untested areas is gold in soil anomalies. So this is the image on the left is actually a regional image, tens of kilometers long, and it sort of highlights that the main anomaly that was generated was the Tassawinni anomaly, which is in the blowout on the right-hand side. You can just sort of make out the small square in the center area, and that's where the historical resource is, and the rest of that anomaly, including the Sown target, which is immediately to the west, to the left of the resource area, and as well a number of other these areas remain untested by drilling. So that certainly provides a lot of upside potential for the project. You sort of overlay those, you got the blocks, you got the golden soil anomalies, the distribution of the drilling, and again, our main target will be expanding the historic resource area. They left a lot of low-hanging fruit there, and we're excited to get back in. I mentioned the Sown target. It's the second area that we have. It's adjacent to the historical resource area, about half a kilometer to the west. It's actually a gold and soil anomaly that's larger than the one associated with the historical resource area. There's been some really wide-spaced drilling here, and that's given the historical resource of about 30,000 inferred gold ounces, but certainly a lot more work to do. There's been some trenching and really shallow augers that provide a great guide to get back in here, and with what we know, we believe have a really good chance for success and potentially, again, build something in the order of the historical resource. Talked a lot about the geochemistry. We've got some geophysics as well. This is giving us a guide as to how we go to depth. So once you get below the oxidation, the mineralization is associated with some pyrite, with some sulfides. This is chargeability here. So this is essentially telling you where you've got some concentrations of sulfides, a real excellent guide to depth, both within the historical resource area, but also significantly on the southern end of the zone target here. We've got some real good chargeability anomalies, again, suggesting that we've got untested extensions to the gold mineralization. So you put all of that together, you use all of your tools in the toolbox. Again, we've got a great start with the 500,000 ounces that sits here in the historical resource area. We've got immediate targets, expanding that along strike and to depth. We've got the zone target just 0.5 kilometer to the west, which again is on surface even larger in terms of its footprint than the resource area. And then we've got a number of untested, strong geochem and geophysical targets outside of the historical resource area. And you put all of that together, and we believe we've got a really great chance to build on this 500,000 ounce historic resource. In addition to Tassawinni, we've got an early stage project. It's the Harpy Gold property. It's located 100 kilometers south of Tassawinni. Not a lot of work done on this property, but it's adjacent to the Aurora Gold Mine property that was owned by Guyana Goldfields, purchased by Zijin Mining for $323 million. So you see here, these are the deposits that make up the Aurora Gold Mine property. This is the Harpy Gold property here. Exactly the same geology. It's trending onto Harpy. Again, little exploration here completed previously. We know it's the right geology. There's some alluvial mining both within the Cuyuni River and within the central portion of the Harpy Gold project. I think it's reflective of what is available in Guyana in terms of grassroots properties. So, even outside of Tassawinni and Harpy, we'll continue to look at what else is available and additional opportunities as we operate in Guyana. In terms of the news flow, so again, really excited to be back working at Tassawinni for the first time in a decade. Again, we'll be building on all of that money that's been spent, the historical resource area. The immediate plans are to restart the exploration in the first quarter of 2022 and quickly follow that up with the first drilling that's been on the property since 2010. So as I've talked, we'll get back into the resource area. We'll drill some holes there with a view to upgrading the historical resource area to NI 43-101 compliant resource, but as well expanding the immediate area of the historic resource and then starting to test some of these other anomalies. So then we'll wrap that in. We'll wrap an updated resource into a preliminary economic assessment. It's important to start looking at the economics of this deposit. As I mentioned, I think with the near surface nature, largely oxidized portion of it, really good grades at 1.3 to 1.5 grams per ton. And then concurrent with that, again, mining licenses that we have here in order to put us in a position to be able to actually look at the potential of mining. All that's required is an environmental impact statement, and we'll look to get that done concurrent with the exploration programs. This is the corporate information. So again, symbols ALE on the CSE. Currently 69.3 million shares outstanding, 73.5 fully diluted, a very significant management position. So we're certainly aligned with shareholders, and again, really excited about getting back in and starting this exploration and discovery and development here at the Tassawinni project in 2022. This provides some contact information. So if anybody has any additional questions in regards to the company or the projects, email here and a phone number. Also, again, encourage you to visit the website, and there'll be a lot of other additional information on the website, technical information, more detailed information on the company that I've been able to provide in this quick presentation. So with that, thanks for your time, and thanks.